Hey boys and grills, this is the Sundown Rider, and this is going to be my chapter review to One Piece 924 Ha. Now, there's a reason why it was called Ha. I've forgotten what it is. It's part of a Japanese phrase or word that means something to do with something. I mean, you can find it out in the chapter. Manga Stream have explained it pretty well. So, it was a good chapter yet again. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And the chapter starts with Kaido's men gathering around Luffy. Surprised he's still breathing, and Kaido has enough respect for Luffy here. He's like, I was actually surprised by this. He has enough respect for Luffy as an enemy to say that, you know, this is expected. I didn't expect that shot to kill him. And I was like, whoa, like Kaido, I was expecting some sort of like, but actually Kaido knows his own strength as well. So I suppose out of anyone, he'd know how much damage Luffy was supposed to have sustained. So Law does exactly what I thought he was going to do this chapter, preparing to shambles himself in and escape with Luffy to safety. But Hawkins attacks Law, and that threw off Law completely. He was just like shit, because basically what happens is Hawkins throws a nail made out of Kairoseki, or made out of sea stone, straight into Law's shoulder, stopping him from using his devil fruit's abilities. So the smiths of Wano are able to make smaller, more delicate items out of Kairoseki, which nobody else in the world can do. Only the smiths of Wano have that ability and the technique to be able to do that. So this may come in handy in the future, especially if these smiths have got beef with someone like Kaido, which I think they do. I'm pretty sure they do, considering what we see later on in this chapter when we go to Udon. I'm pretty sure the smiths have got beef with Kaido, with the Shogun, and they're the people who can smith more delicate items out of Kairoseki, which will be a very, very pivotal part of the story in the future. I kind of more or less have no doubt. So, with Law preoccupied, we see Kaido making a comment about Luffy, saying it's either bravado or kind of this indomitable will to fight. But the unconscious Luffy has been glaring at him for a while now. So Luffy's just been glaring at him while he's on the floor. And I'm not sure if this is actually what was happening, or whether this is like Kaido's insecurities or like anxiety or something like that. But considering Luffy proceeds to then unconsciously unleash, because he is unconscious, so he's like unconsciously unleashing his Haoshoku no Haki, and he knocks out all of Kaido's men around him. And it's not too far-fetched to say that he may have been glaring at Kaido even while blacked out, but I think that's kind of pushing the boundaries a bit. But then again, he does unleash his Haoshoku while unconscious. So before Luffy actually uses his Haoshoku while blacked out, Kaido orders his men to throw Luffy in a cell until his spirit breaks, so that they can make him into a worker for them. And we can assume this is what they've been trying to do with Kid as well. However, it's here that we get some key information when Luffy uses his Haoshoku, his Conqueror's Haki, unconsciously. We get some key information here from Kaido. And we get some other information as well. So first, Shutenmaru refers to Luffy's Haoshoku, Luffy's Conqueror's Haki, as Lord Odin's Jutsu, which means that Lord Odin, or the Kozuki Odin, he possessed Conqueror's Haki. He was one of the few people around the world who possesses, one of these like 1 in a million people who possessed Conqueror's Haki, or Haoshoku no Haki. And someone else who possesses it by and we learned this from Kaido, is that Captain Kidd actually possesses Haoshoku no Haki. So we're getting this kind of, I think Oda mentioned it, and people in characters in One Piece mentioned it as well, that the second half of the Grand Line, that's where you'll find this kind of collection, this gathering of people with Haoshoku no Haki. This is where the conquerors gather, and it's going to be the person who can conquer the conquerors, who will be able to rise above and become the Pirate King, essentially. So it's, you know, what's the line that Arnold Schwarzenegger has in one of his movies? It's if you yield only to a conqueror, then prepare to be conquered, or something like that. Good song by Austrian Death Machine. Check that out. So Kaido then flies away, bored at the concept of going after Law, and he's sobered up now. So he's just like, you know what, I need more alcohol. So he's gonna go get some more alcohol. Meanwhile, Law has escaped Hawkins somehow. I mean, he wasn't able to use his fruit, so I assume he just pulled out the nail in time and then shambled himself out. But Hawkins is there, promising not to let anyone escape. Meanwhile, in Okabore town, we see Kinemon looking at Osuru, which is his wife, and she's tending to an injured old man, and he's marveling at her beauty and stuff, and how she sustained herself over the 20 years that she's been separate from Kinemon. But he also says, like, as an integrous person, is integrous a word? I think it is, when you describe someone as integrous. Is it an adjective? It is, I think so. So yeah, Kinemon, like being an integrous and honorable character, he just says that he can't go and meet with his wife Osuru until after he completes his mission, his task at hand, which is he needs to defeat Kaido and the Shogun, and he needs to put Momonosuke in his rightful place as heir to the throne. So just as this happens, we see Shuten Maru in the back, just strolling by on his kind of bull, I think it is, behind Kinemon. And Kinemon turns around and like calls out to him by the name of Ashura Doji. So that's who Shuten Maru is, as we all expected, because of his silhouette and because of his unique hairstyle. It's pretty expected, but one of the three samurai that we're looking for is Ashura Doji, and that is Shuten Maru. So we then go to the ruins of Odin Castle, where the Straw Hats and Heart Pirates have survived, thanks to Shino's, which is the female shinobi, the Kunoichi. No, that's a ninja. So the female ninja or shinobi, whose name is actually Shino, she saved everyone due to her Devil Fruit's ability, which is it allows her to rot away anything she touches, which is we've seen something similar to that with the Rust Fruit, but that's a different kind of thing. That's more oxidation rather than actually rotting away. Well, actually rotting away, that's talk for someone else who actually understands more chemistry than I do, or maybe even biology. But yeah, she rots away the ground that they stood on, so they all fell beneath and they were saved. But you have to also consider that Kaido took a whole chunk out of the mountain. Just rotting the ground and having them fall about 10 meters wouldn't have saved them. So there's a little bit of plot armor here for me. I mean, like, you guys may have your own opinions, but for me there's quite a lot of plot armor here for all the characters, and a possible like cheeky positioning here by Oda. But we knew the characters weren't going to die anyway, so it's not exactly a surprise. So then we have Okiku say that she has something important to tell both of the crews, and I assume it must be Luffy's capture. So we then go to another scene where we see Inuarashi and his crew. Inuarashi being Dog Storm. Why is it Dog Storm? Nekomamushi, that's Cat Viper. Dog Storm. Yeah, I think it's Dog Storm or something like that. But Inuarashi, one of the mink kind of captains, one of the mink leaders, they've stumbled upon Otama. And so this is kind of... I knew what was going to happen. I knew Tama wasn't going to die. I think I said it in one of my previous reviews, but I said I hope she did, because it would be something that Luffy would have to look back on with guilt and kind of fuel himself with. Looking back on it, though, it's not just because this is One Piece that Tama didn't die. I think Tama may be more important to the story than we possibly know, and she may even be like royalty. I think she might be the younger sister to Momonosuke, but we'll find that out later. But she's got to be more pivotal to the story than just like, I want to save this girl. Or Oda wouldn't just save Tama if she wasn't necessary to the story. So I do believe she might be royalty of some kind. So we then see 3 of the best drawn reactions we've ever seen in One Piece as news circulates around Wano about Luffy's defeat, and they specifically make sure not to mention that Luffy is a pirate. They just kind of address him as Luffy Taro, some kind of rogue samurai / ronin kind of thing. So Luffy's capture is broadcast all around Wano through newspapers and stuff like that. And Frankie, Robin, and Usopp have the most shocked and disgusted reactions about this. Their faces just contort into some hellish visages. And for Robin to make such a face, for Nico Robin to make such a face, she has come a long way with the Straw Hat Pirates. I mean, like, the face she makes, her face just kind of contorts in like triple chin, and like her mouth. We've never seen Robin make such a disgusting face, and I was like, damn, this is it was so weird, but it was funny as shit. So we also find out that you can hear Fortnite in the back. I'm just gonna mute that, but we can also we also see here that Zoro has heard of the news, and he's traveling down a river eating sushi in a small boat. I'm not sure who he's with or where he's going, but he's also surprised by this information. So we then go to a place in Wano called Udon, where it seems the smiths are gathered and the prisons are kept. So that's where the kid definitely is, in Udon. We see another prisoner in Udon who we don't know, and Luffy's going to be taken there as well. And this is where all the smiths are smelting metal and stuff like that, and they're being worked to the bone. We actually see some smiths banging away at some metal, tempering what must be future weaponry of some sort. And we also see a collapsed smith on the floor, like with his hammer, like a little bit of a distance away from him, showing to the extent to which these lads are being worked and how much beef they must have with the beast pirates and current shogun. So inside this place, an inmate is given a poisoned fish whilst being referred to as a croco shark. Now that instantly came to like my mind. The first image that came to my mind was, is it a fishman of some sort? I mean, like, considering Jack is on the island, it's not too far-fetched to say that there's other hybrids or other fishmen among the beast pirates. So maybe it was someone who ate a smile, who defected or something like that, or robbed a smile or something like that, and their fruit was some sort of variation of crocodile, shark or something like that. And I don't think it can be Jinbei. It didn't strike me as Jinbei, but you know, they had some sort of like fur-lined coat almost. I swear Jinbei had something like that at one point, but I don't think it's Jinbei. But I'm not putting that off. I'm not saying that it's not Jinbei. So Luffy is then escorted in while a guard is severely injured by this croco shark inmate who spits the bones of the fish straight into the guard's neck, causing like blood to just spew out. And I was like, this guy, like, to be able to use fish bones to that extent, it's quite impressive. So like, he's definitely going to come in handy later on, but I don't quite know who he is. It might just be Killer, who knows, because Killer doesn't seem to be there, and you'd assume Killer would have been taken in alongside Kid. So all the while, Luffy meets everyone with this murderer's gaze. He's just cold, steely gaze at everyone, looking at them with like the intent to just kill these guys. Bandages wrapped around his mouth and his head. He's giving me like this serious kind of Hannibal vibe. I'm just like, yo, Luffy looks cray right now. And Luffy is then bundled into a cell right next to the captain of the Kid Pirates, Eustace Kid. They both then kind of simultaneously swear that Kaido will regret this day, he will rue this day, with Luffy suddenly recognizing that, you know, beside him is and someone who's essentially sharing kind of the same cell. I think they have a split in between, but who he's sharing a prison with is none other than another supernova, Kid, and he's actually fought alongside Kid before. So this is going to get interesting. This is going to be really cool. And the chapter ends with like this kind of like theater kind of vibe, where the curtains close and we have this the lady playing I forgot what the stringed instrument is called, but she just kind of plucks away like and the scene closes. So now someone mentioned that, you know, with Japanese theater now, like another interim story would usually take place in between scenes. So maybe we go back to Reverie or something like that. That would be interesting. That would be pretty dope. But yeah, so it seems like this first scene of Wano has come to a close, and the next time we come back, Luffy should be conversing with Kid, and just, like, they should be coming up with some sort of idea or some sort of plan to get out and then meet with the rest of the crew and stuff like that, and then they all decide on what to do with Kaido and the Shogun. So let me know what you guys thought of this review. Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. I mean, like, this is already a really late night review, but yeah, I should do my Boku no Hero Academia review tomorrow. So I'll see you guys in a bit.